Mecca of basketball right here in New York City, MSG, Madison Square Garden.
If you know the history of the game, you get up being in the Madison Square Garden. It's the Mecca of basketball. So much history that goes on in this building. So you should always get up, no matter the caliber of the team you're playing or your teammates or anybody. As an individual, you love to be in this building.
Well, the building is special because it's the last one left. And this is the last one that holds all the memories and all the great players and coming up the elevator shaft and thinking about Willis Street and thinking about Jerry West and all the great rivalries that they had in this building.
It don't matter if you're a kid that's 5 years old or you're an NBA player and me at 25 almost. This is the Mecca of basketball. So many memories that's happened in this building. No matter if you're a kid in college playing here, March Madness or anything, or you're an NBA player like myself, it's an unbelievable venue.
Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, widely recognized as the two greatest players since the turn of the millennium. Despite being the greatest players, these two never really shared a rivalry as they played in separate conferences and unfortunately never met up in the NBA Finals. But with that being said, there was one special week of NBA history where these two MVP candidates were competing to display the greatest show at the basketball mecca, Madison Square Garden. So who would be crowned the King of New York, LeBron or Kobe? To get an answer to that, let's take a dive back into this week in history. It's February 2nd, 2009, and the 37-9 Lakers are set to square off with the 21-25 Knicks, who were actually riding high on a 3-game winning streak. Although Kobe and the Lakers were enjoying the best record in the Western Conference, there was also a very somber mood to this team, as their previous game was against the Memphis Grizzlies, and in that contest, Kobe fell on Andrew Bynum's leg, severely injuring the star center, which was obviously a massive blow to the Lakers' championship hopes. After the loss to the Celtics in the previous NBA Finals, Kobe spoke about how Andrew's rebounding and rim protection was missed, and likely played a part in the Lakers losing the series. So to then see Bynum go down again almost felt as if we were seeing the Lakers' championship hopes go up in flames once again, and you could see it on the Mamba's face. The morning of this matchup with the Knicks, news broke to the Lakers that Bynum had suffered a torn MCL and was likely to miss the rest of the season. With this massive blow to their confidence and psyche, Kobe took it upon himself as a leader to re-energize his teammates and convince them that come hell or high water, they're still winning this championship. Leading up to tip-off, Kobe was laser-focused and barely spoke to anyone, and that level of concentration would pay off on the court. Kobe came out hot and seemingly couldn't miss anything. A desperate New York squad threw all kinds of different defenders at him, like Quentin Richardson, Wilson Chandler, and even David Lee took some shots at him as well. But it didn't matter, the result was the same each time. No one was stopping the Mamba on a mission this night. The shots he was hitting had an insane degree of difficulty that was leaving the crowd oohing and awing. As the game was beginning to get out of hand, the New York crowd had lost interest in the Knicks' chances to win the game, and instead, they were cheering on Kobe as he was making history. With his 56th point, he became the highest scoring road player in the history of Madison Square Garden, eclipsing Michael Jordan's iconic double nickel game. When Kobe scored his 61st point, he became the highest scoring player in Madison Square Garden history, surpassing Bernard King's 60-point performance in 1984. As a triumphant Kobe went to the bench, he was showered with MVP chants from an appreciative New York crowd, which only a few players can ever say they've accomplished. On the evening, Kobe finished with 61 points and 3 assists on 76.6 true shooting percentage, and the Lakers won the game 126-117. The Knicks didn't have very long to mourn their embarrassing defeat, because their very next game was just 2 nights later against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron had his own interesting story heading into this New York matchup. James had a massive free agency decision to make in the foreseeable future, and at the time, the New York Knicks appeared to be the favorite to land the king, and for good reasons. LeBron was doing just about as much flirting with the Knicks organization that he could have without getting fined for tampering. He was famously known to be a New York Yankees fan, even going as far as wearing their merchandise to a Cleveland Indians game. LeBron had also been very vocal about the fact that Madison Square Garden was his favorite place to play basketball. So knowing these things, anytime LeBron played at MSG, it was a must-see event, as you expected to see the best from an auditioning LeBron. But having this matchup come so shortly after Kobe Bryant's record-breaking performance, we all knew that LeBron had a little extra motivation on this night. When the game began, LeBron was doing just about everything on the court, but you could also tell that his mindset was just a little different, as he was extremely aggressive offensively and was quick to let it fly from the perimeter, which was not his usual style at this point in his career. With that being said, LeBron was scorching hot and was destroying many of the same defenders that Kobe lit up just a couple nights earlier. To end the first quarter, LeBron hit a jumper at the buzzer, which gave him more points through the first quarter than Kobe had through his, and the New York crowd knew then that they were in for another long night. As the game continued, LeBron didn't let up with his efficient sniping, but whenever he wasn't scoring, he was also controlling the game as the floor general, finding his perimeter shooters whenever he drew most of the attention. Again, there wasn't much the Knicks could do to slow the superstar down, and as the game was approaching its end, LeBron was drawing close to history of his own. With this rebound in the final few seconds, LeBron secured his 10th board, which gave him the historic triple-double. He finished the game with 52 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds on 62.9 true shooting percentage. At this point, LeBron became only the 5th player in NBA history to ever achieve a 50-point triple-double, and this was also the only one to ever take place in Madison Square Garden. Unfortunately, these historic records for LeBron only lasted about 2 days, because the NBA went back and reviewed LeBron's 9th rebound, which he got with only 39 seconds left in the game, and they ultimately decided to take it away and credit it to his teammate Ben Wallace instead. Sorry for the poor quality, but this is the best version of the rebound that I can find. Personally, I don't see how they're justified in taking this rebound away from LeBron, considering how Wallace never seemed to have fully secured the loose ball before LeBron grabs hold of it. Regardless of how we personally feel about it, LeBron's official stat line now stands as 52 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. This week of basketball should be remembered as one of the greatest of NBA history, as it not only featured 2 all-time great performances, but it was also about the incredible stories revolving around these performances. Kobe's leadership would become fruitful as his Lakers would go on to win the NBA championship regardless of the devastating Andrew Bynum injury. And as for LeBron, he would later beat out Kobe Bryant for the league MVP award, and he wouldn't go on to join the Knicks after all, but instead disappointed both New York and Cleveland fans when he famously decided to take his talents to South Beach. Unfortunately, we never got the rivalry we wanted so badly between these two legends, but at the very least, this week in New York was a small highlight of the greats competing against one another for the title of the King of New York. So what do you guys think? Whose performance was greater? Kobe's more efficient 61 points, or LeBron's all-around impressive near triple-double? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.